My name is Gabriel Barrera, and today we're going to be talking about Scharffen Berger chocolate maker, which is a business case from Harvard. This is the table of contents. It was what we're going to be reviewing. First, we're going to start with a very brief history of where does Scharffen Berger comes from. Then we're going to see an industry overview of the chocolate industry in the United States, who Scharffen Berger considers its competitors, a business overview of how this 8 years of history of Scharffen Berger have gone, the sales channels they use, a production overview or their current production overview based in 2005, the upcoming challenges, which is the main focus or the area of opportunity of this company, and finally some board meeting proposals of the new COO, which is Jim Harris, and the takeaways on this. So Scharffen Berger, it is a company that is built out of friendship. I could say it that way because it is founded by these two guys, which are Dr. Robert Steinberg and John Scharffen Berger. They come from very different backgrounds. Dr. Steinberg was a family physician who, after battling cancer, decides to follow his lifelong passion of culinary arts, specifically chocolate making. So he goes to France and studies artisanal chocolate making. After coming back to the United States, he joins forces with John Scharffen Berger, who had just sold his winery. So he had a very good, we could say premium market because of the winery background. And they come with a clear common goal, which was to make the highest quality chocolate using artisanal production methods. So after this, they found the company in 1996, but with no production whatsoever, until 1997, which is when they started producing some small batches to test the product and decide what they want to take out to the market. And then in 1998, it comes out for the public in South San Francisco in a very small rental space. After realizing that they have a very promising business in hands and seeing that there are some actual sales coming out of this, they find this 27 square foot brick warehouse in Berkeley, and they decide to move there because it gave them the conditions to produce chocolate, a very specific environment, which was a cool environment, which helped the process of the chocolate making. And this space also allowed for the customers to live the experience of the chocolate making process, because they could tour the factory and see how everything went there, which is what the premium segment not specifically required, but it's a plus of what you're expecting from a premium segment. The industry overview. So the chocolate industry in the United States is comprised of two markets, the premium market and the mass market. The mass market is $14 billion, but we could also say it's a stagnant market, which is controlled by very big actors such as Hershey's, Mars, Nestle. And then on the other side, we have the premium market, which is only $1.2 billion, but it's growing 15 to 20% a year because people are shifting from the not healthy mass market, the milk chocolate market, to the dark chocolate market, in which there are some health benefits. This market focuses on ingredients, manufacturing methods, tastes, and the experience provided to the customer, which is something Scharffen Berger does. So Scharffen Berger is considered to be high-end in this market, both in price and in positioning. These are who Scharffen Berger considers its competitors. We see Ghirardelli, Valrhona, Godiva, and Lindt. All of these very, very, very professional chocolate houses, all of them with more than 60 years of history. So I would say it's more of an aspirational competition because Scharffen Berger has 8 years of history. It's very complicated for them to consider themselves a real competition of these companies, but maybe they represent where Scharffen Berger wants to be in their later years. Now let's go for a very quick business overview of Scharffen Berger. In this 8 years of history, they've come from $600,000 in 1998 to $15 million in 2005. They've been growing constantly in a pace from 30% to up to 100%. So we see that they're constantly growing more than the market, the premium market in the United States. So they're really taking customers away from the other companies in the premium segment. They, for this, they use 7 to 9 beans in every type of chocolate, which is not a common practice in the industry. All of these are selected by the founders. They are very committed with the company in that sense. They have 4 consumer sizes, which is 5 grams, 1 ounce, 3 ounces, and 10 ounces, and 3 professional sizes, which are 2, 3, and 15 kilograms. They manage a very big portfolio of 80 products, and they have some commercial alliances with companies such as Trader Joe's. What sales channels do they use? In 1998, they only sold locally in South San Francisco, but after moving to the new factory, they started their own, they started selling with their own website. They started using retail stores. By 2005, they go to 4,000 retail stores. In 2003, they opened their first store, and after seeing that by 1 year later it represented 10% of their sales, they decided to open 4 more stores, so they have 5 stores by now. The commercial alliance with Trader Joe's represents 20% of their sales, and there is a new potential customer that could represent an increase of 30% in their sales. Now let's go for the production overview. It's a 7-step production process. It goes from the bean cleaner to the roaster, then to the winnower, then the melanger or the mixer in common English. From the mixer, it goes to, they have 2 conches to the conching process. Then it moves to the tempering and the molding. From the molding, it goes to the packaging, in which they have in-house packaging and external packaging. Obviously, throughout the processes, there are some storage points and some waste that comes out of the ingredients. Now let's do an overview of the throughput of the output of these processes. Obviously, each machine has a specific time cycle, a yield capacity, use capacity, etc. The current capacity monthly, they're producing about 40,000 kilograms of chocolate, and this is because the conching process takes a lot of time, specifically around 40 to 60 hours. So it's what we would call this their bottleneck. We realize that there are some other processes that will be future bottlenecks, but the other ones are not at their full capacity. The conching process runs 24/7, so there is no way around it. And that's something the new CEO realized when he tried to increase the capacity. After the molding process, we talked about the packaging process, and in order to keep the quality, they try to maintain at least 35% of the packaging in-house and 65% external, which is what they're doing now with the 40,000 kilograms a month. So, Jim Harris, the new CEO, arrived to Scharffen Berger in 2004, February. After having knowledge and seeing what was happening, he went to the marketing manager, and they talked about how the demand was still gonna keep going up because constantly they were outstripped of the supply from retailers. There is also the possibility of this new customer, which represents a 30% increase in demand. And if everything keeps going the way it's going, we could expect a triple demand over the next few years. Out of these scenarios, Jim Harris realizes that the current capacity, it's nowhere near of what it needs to be in order to tackle this growing demand. So for the board meeting at the end of 2005 about what they're going to do in 2006, he decides to create 3 scenarios: the 50% increase, 100% increase, and 150% increase in their production. For the 50% increase, it's actually the easier increase in this. Sorry. He realized that even though they relied only on old machines, there was a possibility of adding a new machine, which was more technological, which is a ball mill. After a lot of testing, because of their concern of quality, the founders accepted their inclusion because it didn't affect the taste. And by adding this ball mill, which is pending to arrival by the end of 2005, the conching process comes down from 40 to 60 hours to 10 hours, which now gives us a monthly capacity production in the conching process of 188,000 kilograms of chocolate. So now we have a new bottleneck, which would be the mixing and the roasting. But since they had a spare shift capabilities or capacity, by increasing the shift in one shift in the mixer and one shift in the roaster, we can cover this in order to increase the production to 60,000 kilograms a month, which represents an increase of 54%. Now, that's only in the production, but in the packaging is a different story. Scharffen Berger doesn't really have the capacity for packing this in-house in the same proportion, so they would have to add a second shift, which would bring them to be packaging in-house 35,000 kilograms and externally 26,000 kilograms, which still guarantees their quality approvals. Then to increase 100%, we would first of all we will need to increase the winnower, which is the new bottleneck, to 2 shifts. Add a new mixer, which is available in the market for $50,000. Have the tempering machine at full capacity, which we had some spare capacity previously, now we won't have any. And increase the molding machine to 3 shifts, so it will also be running 24/7 like the conching process earlier. But we know that we cannot add a new molding machine because, as stated in the case, it would be prohibitively expensive. Now, by doing this, we would increase our capacity to 115%, or 86,000 kilograms a month. The packaging can still be tackled with the 2 shifts of packaging, but the ratio would come down to 41% in-house and 59% externally. It is in this proposal when we hit rock bottom in a way, or we crash with a wall. Even though we can increase the capacity of the bean cleaner, we can increase the working shifts of the roaster to 24/7, have the tempering machine working 3 shifts, the production would crash due to the molding capacity. So it would become a bottleneck, but also a fatal bottleneck, as we cannot do anything to go around this. We would get to a top of 130% increase in production, which would represent 94,000 kilograms, and maintain a ratio with these 2 shifts of packaging of 37% in-house and 63% externally, which comes in what we would expect to keep the quality of the product, or what we're doing today. So to get around this, Jim Harris has to figure out something, and he decides that this could change drastically if we take the tempering and the molding out of the process. If we do this and we take away those bottlenecks in a way, we would increase our capacity to more than 200%, a little more than 200%. But that doesn't come without any cons. I mean, we have to recognize and acknowledge that Scharffen Berger wants to become a highest quality production company of chocolate in the United States, and by doing this, we lose a little bit of weight with the quality keeping. I mean, would you still be America's finest dark chocolate if you don't control your processes? This would seem more of a mass production strategy, and I wouldn't know if it's business aligned, or what the founders wanted to do. Yes, the production capacity will be increased substantially, but at what cost? I mean, the customer in this segment is quite cautious. So I would consider this a very high risk, but obviously high reward. Takeaways from this, this brief analysis. For Scharffen Berger and for every other company, growing is a very painful process, And you have to stay true for your early or your initial value proposition, because you have to be congruent to maintain the brand loyalty that you're gaining. Reputation is hard to earn and easy to lose, and that's very true within the premium segments. The premium customers, well, they know when something's going sideways. There are always ways to increase productivity. I mean, if we wanted to make Scharffen Berger a mass producing company, we would only need to bring modern machines and shift the production process. But maybe that would ruin the whole thing. So there are always trade-offs. That's why you try to stay true to your value proposition. Be sure to remember what the company stands for and take the brand to the next level according to what your value proposition is. So thanks a lot for your time. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope to hear from you soon. Thank you.